So it's taken me a little longer than I was hoping to do a follow-up video on this, and I got a number of messages and emails asking for schematics or better instructions. And so, to be honest, there really aren't schematics because it's really just hooking up some switches and they're and the power supply. So I want to try to provide better instructions on how to do that. Now, these two are from Kodak Funsavers. The circuit boards probably look different because even then, and this is about 15 years ago, there were significant differences, as you can see. This I remember being an older one because it had 3 transistors, and then they switched to a newer design that had just a single transistor. It was my observation that the one with the 3 transistors seemed to charge up faster. Either way, they essentially looked identical, had the same battery location, and as you can see, this part of the flash trigger was the same. The newer one actually soldered this part of the trigger on, where the older ones, let me just flip this over here, it was just this pad here, so there was actually a little metal piece that came off when you took everything apart. But if I give you a close up, you can see, whoops, battery fell out. You can see that this is the switch to initiate charging the flash, and you know, the battery locations are the same. You can see this is the battery lead where the battery connects. This jumper piece here for the battery, that's the same thing. So before I start playing around with this, I am going to discharge this because I've already shocked myself a couple times. Let's see, here we go. So when you get these, the light will probably not be on, but you can obviously trigger the flash like so. Okay, even then you're not safe because the capacitor still holds on to a fair amount of charge, like so. So that's safe now. Anytime I play with these, the first thing I do is I just short everything out so that I don't get a nasty surprise. So, what do you need to do? First thing is you need to hook up a battery and a power switch. Okay, obviously the battery has a polarity, the switch doesn't really care, but in this case, this part here, this side here is the positive, that's the negative. Now, one thing that's really useful to have is a continuity tester, and that basically allows you to check you know, if one part is connected to another. You can see right here, for example, this trace on the circuit board means that something that is soldered to this connects to something else that's soldered to it. When you flip this over, this is the negative, so this is the negative battery, but that's also over here. This is another one of these Funsavers I converted, and I just found it easier to put the negative side of the battery on this side. Okay, so you hook up a battery and a power switch. Second thing is you need to jump the charge switch. Now, when these come, they have it different. The battery is always connected, and then you basically trigger the charge switch, the charging with the switch here. So I just find it easier to jump, as you can see here. All you need to do is jump the center pad to any of these 4 pads, and that closes a switch, and that means it's always charging if power's connected, and that's why you need the switch on the battery. So once you jump that, then the third thing you do is you need a trigger switch. Okay, and for the trigger switch in this case, you can see that this and that if you connect these two, these are the trigger switch. Here I actually soldered some wires to it. This one was an extra wire for some other thing I was playing with. So if you basically connect these two, then it triggers the launch. No polarity, you don't care about the polarity on that. The battery, you do care about polarity, obviously. You have to have the positive to this pad and the negative to that pad. Okay. And then the fourth thing is you need your igniter leads. And these are the wires that will go to your clips. Let's see, here we go. So here are the clips that would normally go to the igniter, and all you do is you can see on the end of this flash tube, there's this little piece of I don't know, thin sheet metal, a foil that jumps here. You basically desolder this, okay? You just pull that out. In order to complete the circuit, now the igniter completes the circuit. So you can see here that, just try to hold this up here, okay? This end of the flash tube used to connect up here, but this is all on this one trace right here. So I just, for convenience, now one end goes to the tube, the other end goes to this trace. And then as you see, it just goes to the clips. And that is all you need. The fifth, of course, would be to put a safety switch in. And I would generally recommend that the safety switch go on the trigger. So basically, the trigger switch has in series a safety switch. And what that means is you have one switch, which is your trigger, and then you have another switch, which is your safety. So it looks like that. A parallel, you wouldn't want a parallel switch, which would be like that. Whoops. You wouldn't want a parallel switch like that. So this is parallel, and that's serial, so you do not want this. Okay, you want the serial, you want your safety switch, your trigger, and your safety switch to be in series. Okay, so I guess that's the one schematic you might need on the switches. So with that, hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to understand. And anyone who wants to look at a bonus round, I'll put up a quick video on how to make it even smaller, get something that's really miniature. Thanks for watching.